Where is it? There it is.
Marketing is a means to an end. And the end is the growth of the business in a profitable way.
We have 5 new pieces of creative. And so I said, what if we did this?
No bidding strategy is going to cure a bad business model.
Very true. This is where it's really crazy.
Welcome to the Ad Lab, live from the lab, the crazy performance kitchen, cooking up chaos with John Moran. How you doing, buddy?
Good, man. How about you? You're so much better at that than me. I'm just like, hey, everybody.
Oh, I've done a few shows in my day.
Right. And I'm just, I'm in here in my back cave. I'm like antisocial. I'm like, hi.
That's all right. All right. I actually did 5 podcasts this week just because
Holy
we have
crap.
because we have so much time off coming up. So I loaded up on podcasts. So I'm in podcast mode for today because Thanksgiving and everything else. But yeah, which reminds me, we're probably not going to do an Ad Lab next Friday because that's Black Friday. And we're probably, I know I'm hanging out with family that day, but I don't know what your plan is.
I'll be doing the same. Yep. Yeah. Have my parents are coming into town, and then we'll be, kind of like hosting Thanksgiving like at our house, and it'll be good. It'll be nice.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Good. Well, good. You deserve a little time off there, John Moran. I would have to say, in your micro plaid shirt today.
I know my adult plaid.
That's right. His big boy plaid he's got on today. Well, of course, today's show is sponsored by Tier 11. So we are running a special right now through the end of the year. You can buy the Creative Diversification package and you get the media buying and the Tier 11 data suite, which is all the stuff we talk about here on this show. First click CAPI imports, et cetera, all of that for free. And I was just running the numbers. We're actually not making a whole lot of money on this. So it is a special that's just going to last through the end of the year. I think we have 4 packages left.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, Lauren Schwartz is going to kill me for continuing to promote this. She's like, it's only the busiest time of the year with a lot of holidays. But anyway, she said we could sell 11, so we've sold a lot, which is great. Plus, you should be planning for your 2026 now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Absolutely.
December.
I mean, yeah, especially with everything and how it's moving, how it's optimizing. It's like the creative is still so much. I mean, it's funny. We've been using first click CAPI imports in order to retrain stuff, but I'll give just a half-second example of this. Isn't even what we're going to be talking about today, but it is important to actually just even cover this for those of you who still think or still want to target a specific type of users. This is something that we noticed this last month. So this is a case study. It's actually pretty cool. So we're going to share it along with another case study that we're going to be talking about today as well. Yep. But you can see here, this is a returning customer campaign. So this is focused on returning customers. It gets, it works really, really well. Spend $9,000, got 1,730 returning purchases, costs us $5 each. Easy peasy. It's a company with a great brand loyalty, so we don't have to spend too much. Right. So we said, hey, what if we just stop marketing to them? And so we, from the 4th to the 18th of November, we actually paused this campaign from the 4th to the 18th, and we compared to the previous period. What was interesting is this campaign was not spending too much. It was spending $7,500 every 2 weeks or so. Yeah. So not too much. And when that was paused, we actually also started scaling our new customer campaign in order to drive more awareness for our Black Friday, Cyber Monday. I know it was 2 weeks ago when we kind of did a little bit of a Black Friday, Cyber Monday, kind of touch upon some points. And I said, hey, you want to start to scale up now before Black Friday, Cyber Monday goes live so that you can have a bigger audience. And, I don't really care what the metrics were at that point in time on these people. Yes, we scale up 68%, but because it's new customer focus, we did get 50% more new customers. Awesome. Cost us $10 more. Who cares? But watch this. This is something that I thought was really quite interesting is if we look at the amount of returning customers, there was 1,291. So we say, okay, we lost minus 1,291. We have a negative. And if we look at the delta, which we'll be using another calculator on, the delta of returning customers in this one campaign here was, we have 2,399. It's right there at the bottom. So 2,399. And then, well, actually, you know what? I have to do this one first. This one was 3,805. 3,805. That's the after. 3805 minus 2399 is 1406. So pausing that one campaign and losing, quote unquote, 1,291 existing customers, we actually increased the amount of existing customers in our new customer campaign by 1,400. We literally added like 115, 116 more returning customers in our new customer campaign. So we see the new customer campaign went from $23.99 existing customer purchases to now $38.05, which is funny because this campaign says it's not spending on existing customers and they're excluded. So how did that happen? Creative does what it wants. Guess what creates both of these? They are literally the same exact creative. It is a clone of each other. And so we have two campaigns. They are the same campaign. They have these same exact exclusions, and they have two different optimizations. But once we shut off existing customers in campaign B, all of those existing customers and more went to campaign A. So that's what's really interesting is if we say, hey, we'd like to not go after existing customers here and we'll build a campaign for it, you can keep them optimized. It will work towards and it will scale what they are trying to work towards, but it will still remarket and your existing customers will still be there. So that's where it is a little bit of like you really can't pick and choose who the ads are going to. The creative does the targeting. So we kind of learned to leverage that. And that's kind of the part of our second case study that we're going to be going into today. But before I dive in, any talking points there? Because otherwise I'll blow through things really fast. We'll be staring at each other for like 40 minutes.
Yeah. No. I get it. We're having a technical issue with this showing up only in like the vertical format for some reason. So we're going to have to, so if you are watching, the recording is actually going to be in the landscape version. So because it uploaded both. Anyway, there's something strange going on with StreamYard. We're going to have to figure this one out. But anyway, just a note, because we had a couple of mentions of it in the comments. Super interesting stuff. Today, we're going to be talking about micro conversions too. But I did want to make mention of this GEM update, which is really sort of an extension of the Meta Andromeda update that we've been talking about for nearly a year now. It actually is really a year because it came
December
out
2nd.
Yeah, pretty much. It's been 12 months. So this is like an iteration of Andromeda. I did a podcast on it this week with Andrew Foxwell, but really it is just more of the same of what we've always been talking about. It's the generative ads recommendation model, which is basically, it's like a super brain that taps into the LLM, which is the Meta Lattice, which is the library. So the Andromeda update might come across, you might hear it as the GEM Lattice Andromeda update. Meta is actually sort of calling that now. We've been referring to it as Andromeda, but it's really, it's AI. It's the algorithm just getting smarter and smarter. And they say basically because of this GEM update, you're getting 5% more conversions on Facebook and you're getting 3% more conversions on Instagram, or maybe it's the vice versa. Anyway, small incremental improvements. Yeah. Apparently, according to Meta, this is off the record. They say, look, before with Andromeda, Facebook and Instagram weren't actually talking to each other. They weren't linked, which I found amazing to me. So like they didn't know what each other was doing, but it really did seem that, I mean, obviously if you pull sort of the stuff that you're doing right now with all the money that we've spent testing this, you probably have you ever looked at the mix between Instagram impressions versus Facebook? Is it 50-50? Is it 60-40? Like what's your comment on that?
Well, let me do this. I can't show the client.
Yeah.
But I'm going to take a screenshot of it real quick and I'm going to share this. This is the day that we went live. This was June 1st, 2025. So, 5 months ago, this was the day that we enabled, or we built out a campaign to the Andromeda standard. And this is what actually saved this client year over year. They're a visual brand. They're a fashion brand. And that fashion brand was doing very, very well on Instagram. Now, I can see if I could try to build a case study here. But what we noticed is that our traffic, we were losing, what was before and after. This is now the after. This is the good. So before, we had basically a high amount of Facebook and a lower amount of Instagram. We turned on Andromeda, and now we have a lower amount of Facebook and a higher amount of Instagram. And that's where we were all last year. The placements started to get removed, or not removed. The placements inside of our non-Andromeda campaigns were starting to go haywire. Basically, the traditional campaigns that were not Andromeda compliant, started to actually give us more traffic on Facebook than Instagram, even when we're trying to adjust placements.
Mm-hmm.
Turn on Andromeda, and all of a sudden 48% less traffic on Facebook, 35% more traffic on Instagram. Year over year results in 1 week went from -33 to +2%. I mean, it was a massive swing. So yeah, I absolutely believe it. We noticed that as well.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I dropped a link in the notes here today, and we'll also leave it in the YouTube channel and wherever we post this. But some very cool new graphics for us to show off when you get a chance to read this article. It's like it's out of the engineers they talk like so over my head. I've had to like learn. I mean, you and I are both in like all these AI stocks and everything.
Right.
But do we really actually know anything about like a GPU?
No, stocks is green line go up, and I'm like, yeah, all right.
GPUs, they're all good.
I've been trading GPUs all day long. You know?
That's right, GPUs all day long. Did you know
those GPUs are great?
Yeah, they're fantastic. Did you know that Google has their own GPU?
Oh man. That's the thing that people have said is silently killing Bitcoin. Their quantum computing can solve Bitcoin mining encryptions in like 2 minutes rather than 15 years. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, it's going to threaten the entire Bitcoin chain. It's exciting time to be alive. It's fun.
It's like, NVIDIA actually has a competitor, but doesn't really like NVIDIA is just growing like incredibly right now. Obviously, they're the ones who it's a graphic. They were a gaming company, and now they are the bleeding edge
$5 trillion.
$5 trillion valuation right now, which is insane.
Yeah.
But anyway, the point
is
funny.
Yeah, during his, and this is about Facebook, when he was his the earnings not earnings call, sorry, the presentation that they did at the time of earnings, he was holding up a Hopper chip.
Yeah, Grace Hopper.
And Grace Hopper. He's like,
there's a Grace and there's a Hopper, right?
Yeah. And so the Meta uses Grace, the NVIDIA Grace Hopper platform.
Mm-hmm.
And Meta, it was like, he's like, this is the Hopper chip, and this is revolutionary. It changed the world. And then he pulled out the Blackstone chip, which is like 5 times the size and 5 times the power. And he's like, this is like next and what people are buying. And you have to imagine Meta is one of those buyers of that new chip.
Oh god.
So if the tiny little chip of the Grace Hopper chip is doing this much for AI and Meta, imagine if they move to Blackstone, which is, it can process the entire internet's worth of information in 2 seconds. Like it's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
The compute that is available now and will be in the future is like it blows your mind. If you do any sort of research on this, I mean, obviously everyone's using AI, everyone's using ChatGPT and Gemini and all that, but it's like, this is we're scratching the surface.
Oh yeah.
It's going to be. So pretty exciting stuff. So anyway, article in the notes for you if you want to go deep and get geeky on it. Yeah. I love when I talk to my son who works at Applied Materials about semiconductors. Like I lose him after about like a minute. I ask some question. It's like he's going off on all these physics things. I'm like, yeah, I got you. Yep. Yep. Keep going. Make Dad proud.
It's like talking to me about like healthy eating. I'm like, you don't go to Buffalo Wild Wings? That's weird.
Buffalo Wild Wings and bang all day. What the hell?
You're like, what's broccoli?
With broccoli.
All right.
All right. Well, let's get into another case study. You're full of it today, John.
I am just full of it.
Case studies.
I am full of just AI and case studies and everything else I can't say publicly. Full of it.
All right. That's all right.
So this is actually something that we've been working on for a few weeks now and a few months, actually. It's since August. And what we've been testing is micro conversions inside of Andromeda. Because we don't really necessarily have inclusion and exclusion funnels, we thought, well, could we have micro conversions and inclusions and exclusions, where not really inclusions and exclusions, but basically just inclusions. So what we're trying to figure out right now, essentially, is everyone has their funnel. This is. Oh wait, I'm sorry, I forgot that this thing was not sharing full screen. There we go. Okay. So everyone has their funnel, and for Google, we're always typically like right around here. We want to track the bottom of the funnel conversions as much as we possibly can, because in Google inbound, the middle of the funnel and upper funnel become extremely expensive on inbound, which means if you think about it, you're paying, let's just say like a $5 cost per click. Okay. So $5 CPC. And for you to train your entire funnel downwards in a $5 CPC environment, and maybe this one is add to cart, maybe this one is begin checkout, and maybe this one is conversion. Now, bots are very prevalent and the cost per click is very, very expensive. And it's very hard to do a low CPC inbound on quality users inside of Google. So we've always said, hey, micro conversions are going to be hard, because if anybody is looking at any sort of product and they simply add it to a cart to see what is your price versus Amazon's, as an example, you're going to pay, at least $5 for that. And that gets very expensive. Now,
and there's a lot of people that shop that way, by the way.
Absolutely.
That is not like just a wild thing that you see. If you optimize for add to carts, you will find the add to cart people. My wife is one of them, by the way.
Same here. Yeah, my wife is always. It's almost like Black Friday, Cyber Monday. She's built like 12 carts, and she's just waiting for the emails. Yeah, I mean, people are smart. They track trends. Then, so obviously, the top of the funnel is very expensive, and you can sometimes just suck up your entire daily ad spend and never really leave this portion of the journey. That is something that happens quite often. So we said, well, let's look at this on Meta. When we were trying to get this company to be up to speed really quickly on the new first click CAPI import purchases, they were coming very slowly because it is a 30-day sales cycle. So technically on a first click new customer import, you should wait approximately 30 days before you can say this is working or it is not. You're going to have conversions day 2, 5, and 10, but they're going to ramp up more strictly on day 30. Right. So we said, well, is there a path that's right before the purchase that we can at least feed Andromeda? And so we did the click through checkout. This is a first click. It is a CAPI import, and it is about a person who had to have started on Facebook and at least made it to begin checkout. Because if we can get to that page, I can bring a lot of those users to the site for sub $50 for checkout, like let's say 30, 35, and we can amplify the amount of relearning on a new audience that Meta will start to retarget rather than waiting to change audiences or identify what is working after 30 days. So we just shorten the learning. It's essentially like we give a tip to Meta, like, hey, starting to look good. You're on the right track. Keep going. That was the micro conversion. Inside of Google, sometimes that fails. Inside of Meta, Andromeda seems to work pretty well. But we run into an issue here, which is last click attribution. And this is where things get a little bit muddy, which is, well, if this campaign is responsible for bringing all the new people in and they're going through click through checkout and they stop there, how do we get them to buy? So we said, well, let's launch a buy campaign. So these two campaigns are using the same exact everything. Both are broad targeting. Both are basically just running wide open, and they both have the same exact ads in both. Yep. So these ads are basically just doubled up. So you'll see like a lot of times the same one. They're the same ads in both campaigns. Got it. We said, well, we're starting to get some purchases, and they were starting to look good. This is the week before last when things started to not look good. But what we're seeing is, we're getting new customers. They're purchasing. Things are looking good. And they're coming in at a really good CPA and something we want to afford around $200. We're like, this is a home run. Excellent. Year-over-year gross up 38% since doing this. We are hitting a home run. Actually, that's what we have to look at, because I don't really care about what in-platform metrics are. I just care about the trends. Right. But ever since running this model this last 2 weeks, we are 37% over year-over-year. They're making 70. Now we're making over 100. We were expecting to make somewhere in the 60s this last week.
And this is pulled right from the CRM, I believe. Not Shopify. This is a CRM.
Yeah, this is actually their finance team. Got it. And so what's cool about that, it was like everything was working fine. So we said, hey, well, let's start to get less top of funnel, less checkouts, and let's start to push more conversions. Can we transition in?
Makes sense.
So we started to say, okay, well, we were pulling out, $7K out of our checkout optimization here, and we're pushing $7K into our conversions. And this last week we did another move where we swapped them. You can see we spent the same. We're just, robbing from A to pay B. Yep. But this is when we started to see 2 weeks ago some softness, and then this last week now was starting to hurt, and top line was starting to suffer. So we look in there and we say, okay, well, ever since transitioning, now we've lost 16 new customers and we lost 117 click-through checkouts. Started to look a little funny. And so I told them I'm waiting and expecting this. And this is what I said before we
Because it's a 30-day cycle.
Well, it's a 30-day cycle, but if this is last click checkout, this is feeder kind of, again, which means we get a whole bunch of people, 800 people to go in through checkout. And then those people are then targeted because they're the same people that most often when they're targeted, they do convert. Right. So what we end up accidentally doing is we robbed our lead generator for our sales. So we pulled out 25% in people who are going to checkout, and we started losing the people going to purchase. So basically I have a door greeter that's opening the door and letting everybody into the store. And then you got one salespeople back there that says, "Come here, I'm ready for you." What we did is we shut the door.
Yeah.
That's all we did. So I said, I'm waiting to see if we see some softness here because it's last click attributed, which means everybody that has come from checkout optimization, once they fully go through the funnel, can only show up here unless we're tracking obviously those two. So by simply MMM modeling, very simplistic, if you pull in from top of funnel and push more in the bottom of the funnel, we've dried up the funnel. So we said, hey, let's do this on the 18th of this week, because we check everything week over week. I said, let's do this. Let's move our money back. So we took $2,000 back and put it into our checkout optimization campaign. And then we took $3,000 out. So a 20% increase in checkouts and a 36% decrease in new customer sales. That's the spend. So we just pulled back. And we put it more towards like, okay, salesperson, you hold tight. We're going to go open the door. And that's what we did. Now, what I thought was really cool is, yes, we spent 36% less in new customer acquisition. We increased new customer acquisition by 128%.
Wow.
And we have a checkout optimization that went up 21% and brought us 10% more checkouts.
Yeah.
So that 10% is still 26. So now watch this. We have a new customer checkout that had 20 new customer purchases that it can track. And that 20 went up to 24. So now we have 20 going to 24. So there's 4. And then we have 7 going to 16. That's 9. But 9 plus 4 is 13. And so we actually have 13 more new customers simply by reallocating the spend back. We just opened the front doors again, let more people in, and the salesperson back there was able to close more people. That's micro conversions, leading the charge, retraining the algorithm to focus on an audience with fast feedback loops, and everything else is following along.
They're really interesting here. I mean, I know that because of the longer sales cycle, you wanted to get the checkout. Like I assume that's an initiate checkout action that you are optimizing for on the campaign.
Yep.
And it's a precursor to the actual purchase, but the purchase typically does happen, the vast majority of them, in and around the 30-day mark.
We found out that, the click-through checkout still sometimes take 7 to 10 days.
Okay. Even that takes 7 to 10 days. Okay.
Yeah.
Got
now,
it.
when we put money back in, we re-engage people that were getting ready to add to cart. We went back to them.
Okay. What if you had just waited longer, though? Everything that I'm thinking of is like, all right, you didn't wait long enough. You need to ultimately you want to optimize for purchases. Right.
Exactly right. And what's funny is when looking at just MMM, the first move that we made went from our new customers went climbing to now kind of like a little bit flatter. We made a second move. It started to kind of like chop around. We made the third move and it started declining. So we said, okay, let's take one step back. We took one step back and now they've flattened out again. So it's very interesting to see when you do MMM, if I push spend there, what happens to my new customers? Well, what if I pull it out? They go down. So I put it in, they go up. What if I move it? They go down. Okay, well, move it. Oh, okay, cool. Like we're basically just pulling one lever and seeing how the other lever moves. But the hypothesis is that we were bringing in a lot less new users because they were coming in at 10x the frequency. For every one customer we get, we have to have 10 checkouts. So unless we're keeping a high amount of ad spend on those checkouts and bringing a whole bunch of people to the site, the conversion campaign didn't have enough money to keep continually increasing, as because I do believe that they were going after an audience that at least made it to a specific point before, because it's been there for about $300,000.
Right.
So I think it's learned that funnel really well.
Yeah. Why wouldn't it?
Exactly.
I mean, it's the lowest hanging fruit. Like, why not?
If I target those people, do they buy? Who are those people? Those are click-through checkouts.
Yeah.
Great.
It really is like you've created sort of a mini feeder strategy inside Meta.
Exactly right. Yeah, we have feeder strategy for Andromeda already. It's crazy.
So what would be the next step? Everyone's following this. Obviously, the feeder strategy is sort of the same kind of thing. You would like maximize clicks, and then you would do TCPA or TROAS on the Google side. But this is really within the Meta framework. What's your plan moving forward? Are you just going to stick with the maximize for checkouts or optimize for checkouts, or do you still want to ultimately transition over to optimize for the new customer purchase?
Yeah, it seems that we're doing like a 65-35 or at least like a 70-30 split.
Yeah.
Like the difference that we're looking at here week over week is what if they are 50-50 versus what if they were like 70-30?
Okay.
I mean, it's basically kind of, it's a 33-66 technically, but then, it's 15 and 5, whatever it is. So it's like 35, 65. I don't know. Close enough. 2/3 versus half. Let's call it that.
Right.
So moving from half to 2/3, that's what's funny is inside says, yep, that was a good move. And then top line said, yep, that was a good move. So perfect. So keep this one at 60, keep this one at 40 in the ratios, and then add 20% to both.
Yeah.
Very simplistic. So what we're doing is we don't want to necessarily change the funnel as to which users are going through. We just want to exacerbate it. We just want to increase it. So don't restructure the funnel, just pour more gasoline on it, essentially. And we're doing it with spend levels.
So on what kind of business would you recommend this specific strategy for?
This is lead generation.
Okay. So
technically.
Technically.
Now, we tried this again. This one is not ready for prime time yet. So please, don't judge this too harshly. We just made this change in our account on the 16th. But we are testing this in a macro sense, where from the 16th through the 20th, so let's just say this is the day of the change, we've spent about $70K on it so far. So $70K in the last 5 days. What we're attempting to replicate is kind of like a massive one big campaign with all of our products in it for lead generation, and then a bunch of small feeders. So essentially, this one campaign has, as an example, this one campaign has digestion, joint, and immune pills or supplements for dogs and cats. That's what's in this one. And then I have a digestion campaign using nothing but digestion ads. Then I have a joint campaign using nothing but joint ads. And then I have a immune campaign using nothing but immune ads. The reason why we did this is a few things that we're going to be testing. And this is my hypothesis. When we had this broken out by individual campaigns, the campaign that was spending the most was selling everybody everything anyway. I was selling 35 digestions. 23 of those are new customers. I was selling 110 cats. 54 of them are new customers. I was selling 17 joint products. 8 of them are new customers. I'm like, we keep getting new customers from all of our products, but we can't scale one at all very well. So if we start to spend in campaign B, campaign A looks better. Okay, that's because they can be the last click. They are most often the last click. Why? Because they spend more. If you have 10 chances to get a click and you have 1 chance to get a click, on average, you're going to have 90% of the clicks. Right. So this campaign always made itself look good. So we said, okay, well, what if we leverage that? So what we did is when we optimized for a new campaign, now I have one new campaign for new customers. And this is just going to have all of the ad spend dumped into it. And then these other campaigns are just going to continually increase the ad spend and the creative, which are cloned in this campaign as well. And we're going to scale these campaigns to see, can this campaign get more and more and more efficient?
Interesting.
And so that's the hypothesis. So far,
what is the big campaign optimized for, by the way? Is it
new customers across the board, whatever they buy?
Doesn't matter what it is. It's not any specific price. NC purchase.
Yep, it's just purchase. All of them are purchase NC.
Okay.
It's because what we're actually finding as well is, there we go. So last 2 days, same flat spend, 3% in the last 2 days. So we've been running it for 4 days. The last 2 days compared to the first 2 days, same spend, new customer costs are down 33% into the 200s. We haven't been there in about 3 months. And then new customers are increasing 56%. So time lag, but it's still moving. Right. So far, so good. But check this out. This is what I thought was super, super, super interesting is because we're restructuring and because we're optimizing for all new customers, this campaign now has its prospecting unleashed. The reason why is because with overlap, if the main campaign that has the most amount of spend is getting all the attribution from other campaigns that actually brought the user to the person in the first place, the click-through rates and activity of that main campaign will be snuffed because that's always the last thing just beating the crap out of people. We wanted to change the narrative to what if that main campaign was our main prospector, and then we can influence that campaign sales by feeder strategy levels of increased traffic that has to go follow along with. So when looking through the that sort of lens, we said, well, okay, if that is true, yes, we already can see that the last 2 days are twice as good as the first 2 days, so it is trending in the right direction. But let's also, okay, there we go. Let's also look at some other things here. I would expect that if that was the case, our CPC would be much better. I would expect our CTR to be much better. I would expect our CPMs to be about the same.
Right.
And so what we can see here is that our CPC is down 43%. So we were spending 44. I don't know why this thing just doesn't sort well, but you can just look at the bottom metrics here. But our CPC went from 44 cents down to 25. It saved 43% on our cost per clicks. Our click-through rates went from 7 to 12.
Jeez.
A 68% increase in click-through rates. This main campaign, all product, is still hovering
around that 11-12%. Yeah.
Basically 11-12% here. So it's still holding. The old campaign, that big one, I wish I could show it to you, but yes, that old campaign was that's the cat one. I forget what the other one, the big one here. I hate what is that? That's a feeder. Feeder.
It's not sorting by your either spend or impression or anything.
Yeah, I was hoping that I can sort descending by spend somewhere. It just doesn't look like it's actually trying to listen to me at all. So I don't know.
It's the damn gem update. It's
there it
gem and lettuce together.
Right? Baby lettuce. Gem,
baby lettuce.
Gem lettuce is gross. Baby gem lettuce.
Slather a little Andromeda on top, and you got yourself a disgusting sandwich.
Get some Google breadsticks while you're out there. All right. So there we go. This was our big campaign there. That was getting that was when we were spending the same amount of money. That was getting a 5, and now the all products campaign is 11. So that's where we see a 68% increase in there. And then lastly, I expected the CPMs to be about the same. Let's check. 33, 32. So they get 4% better, but I'm not going after anybody different. So it makes sense. So the click-through rates are increasing 68%. Why? Because it went from the biggest campaign doing the most amount of marketing to now the biggest campaign doing the most amount of prospecting. Okay, that's excellent. And then the click-through rates are dropped 43% because of those the CPC is dropping 43% because the click-through rates are increasing 68%.
Right.
Now, when we go into the back end of our site,
you're just scooping up what's left over from the initial campaign,
and the campaign is no longer restricted by a certain product. I'm asking myself, I'm like, do we really care what products that sell? Not really. So it's like, if we don't really care what products sell, why are we really forcing spend on it if we just want a massive amount of increase in sales?
That was kind of my question to you, actually, before we showed this. Is all those individual follow-up feeder campaigns, you're not optimizing for the conversion new customer for that specific product. It's just purchase NC. Why wouldn't you do it for the individual product? Or is that just splitting too many hairs, making it too fine?
Human interaction and last click attribution ends up killing itself.
Right. Okay.
Because this one is doing all of the work.
That's right.
That one takes all the credit. So if I was like, hey, if you guys can high five yourself up, if anybody sells anything ever, at least I can have at least a concerted effort to put 142,000 in reach in products that I want. And I don't care if they're a new customer here, or here. Don't care. MMM dictates spend. So as long as they're new customers and people that are wanting to buy joint and then buy digestive and maybe later joint, am I prejudiced against them? No, cash is cash. I'm like, hey, let's just roll it. So that's what we looked at here is remember, the spend between these two date ranges is 7% difference. Went from 52 grand to 56 grand. So we only spent $3,000 more. So 7% increase. Our traffic on Facebook went up 92%.
Jeez.
So this is the date range here, 17, 18, 19, 20, compared to 13, 14, 15, 16, which is the exact same comparison here. So now our traffic is up 92%. I do already see more sales coming from Facebook, less from Instagram. That's okay. This one's up 1,000. That one's down 300. Yeah. My sessions here have gone up 66%. My add to carts have gone up 35%. My reach checkouts are up 20%. My completed are up 10%. So this is working extremely well here as well. So what's nice It's exactly and what we're trying to do now is see how this is going to start to convert. Our recharge subscriptions are down a little bit, but our online store is already up 1.3%. So far, so good. Shop's up 180% and yada, yada, yada. So we're going to need to give this time because, yes, these metrics will normalize and some people will fall off and that kind of stuff. But all of our pages are up. I mean, every single metric, according to social, is up. And that's what we're going to, how is Google search going to look? How is Amazon going to start to look? Like, we have to look at all of our media that we're going to be going through. But our media tracker that we're following here, this is where we'll be able to see in this week of the 16th that's coming up here. I'll be able to kind of hop back on and share the results. But so far, a restructuring and going after a massive amount of new customers works well. The one reason I didn't cover that also this thing fails on is because it's last click attributed. The campaign that ends up doing that remarketing artificially takes that sale, but only after kicking the crap out of warm traffic. So that's where, what is that algorithm going to tell it to do? As long as you have people that are coming to the site, you can go and remarket them and you will earn money. It is first click attributed that we're sending in, but it's last click self attributed as what the spend is going to go to and telling us what the creative is working. So we essentially just reversed it to a bunch of small feeders that we're going to scale up. But if I'm spending X amount of money on ads between all of the campaigns, now I can look at what money did we spend on each one of these products and what is the revenue. And I do have an area to simply crank up.
So you're not optimizing for first click purchase new customer, or you are?
We are, but
you are.
Meta changes the attribution to last click.
Right.
The reason why we send in first click and then it changes it to last click is simply due to this here. Meta thinks that there's one person here and one person here, and it believes that person A went to the site and added something to cart. Then they hop over to their iPad and they go back to their cart and buy. Meta's like, well, these are two different people and one didn't work because it fails fingerprinting, right? If this is a person that is now lost in fingerprinting, that's the biggest reason why attribution doesn't work. Is the entire journey is fragmented, is broken down, it's shattered because they look like individual people because they can't tie them together. Yeah. So what we do is we say, watch this. This is FB click 1. So imagine like Facebook click ID equals 1. This is now Facebook click ID equals 2. And what Meta is going to think about is, okay, these are two different people if it can't string them together. So this person that clicked and went to the cart and I thought was really good, they died. Okay, well, that person that left, that didn't work, kind of looks like this person, so stop going after these people. Well, when I bring it back together, I say, no, Meta, this actually, don't look at that. That's wrong. That's incorrect. This isn't Facebook click 2. That's Facebook click 1 as well. And Meta says, oh, thank you for uploading Facebook click 1. I now know who these two are. And then this is the learning that I'm going to use. And then this gets attributed to whatever campaign brought that person there. Yeah. So failed fingerprinting, it resets it. If fingerprinting is good, it has to use that same data. So no matter what, it always will learn on the original click. If it broke down afterwards, that's what we import as a good conversion. No, Meta, you were right the first time. Keep doing it. That's how these things scale quickly.
That's why it's so important for the first click CAPI imports.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're training that. We always sort of joke about it like we're training Meta to be a better Meta, but Meta is pretty good on its own. But without this, there still is lack of visibility.
Yeah, but it's just leveraging itself. We have that one tablet, the fabulous company,
the fabulous tabulous,
the fabulous tabulous. And what's funny about this here is this is before that we see before we have CAPI imports. So we just launched with CAPI imports now. That is something that has already went live and it's going to be gaining data. But what we had this campaign here on was the pre CAPI imports here. I believe
ran no CAPI imports for how long?
Like a month?
About a month. That's right.
Yeah, about a month. And I think this time period here, we actually scaled up a little bit in ad spend. Now, we already did this here, and I think we already showcased this, I think. But, oh, wait, I don't know why I'm getting the wrong data. I don't want that. I don't want cost per result or purchase ROAS. That's dumb. I want Costs.
All the tools we
There we
used to use, but we now no longer use.
I know, right? I'm like ROAS. Who cares about
Purchase ROAS. That used to be it. Anyway,
right? So we were spending
2019.
I know, right? Like you think attribution works.
Yeah. Right.
But when we did this here, when we increased our spend from $50 a day on average to $75 a day on average, that actually happened on the 5th. And so what's funny is this thing going from the 5th to the 18th compared to the previous period, we scaled up 55%.
Yep.
It says that we have a cost per result that went good. We went from 8 sales to 14 sales, and that was from the 5th to the 18th. Now, if we actually look in the back end of Shopify, because we're only really running Meta on this company.
This was 15 and 8. I forget the purchase numbers.
So between the 5th and the 18th, it went from 8 up to 14.
14 to like 8 to 14. Gotcha.
Yeah, and that was November 5th to November 18th. Now, November 5th to the 18th here, compared to the previous period, we actually increased 70% in orders to 46. So, which one are you going to believe? Now, imagine Meta, which is super strong, which uses baby gem lettuce, doesn't have enough information at all.
Rip of Andromeda.
With just a touch of a crouton. If this thing said it only gained 6 sales instead of like the 20 that it made, or 25 that it actually, or 20 that it increased, what is that telling the creative targeting? What's working? It's telling it a fragment of a story.
Yeah.
And that's why it's important for this to actually be attributed correctly.
Yeah. That's really the bottom line. Without that, you're only giving what we always say, they're modeling and or missing 40 to 60% of your data.
Exactly right.
In Meta, even with all these updates, like you're still blind to it. Remember, the ATT prompt and those blockers and all the other privacy things, those are still real. Like Meta is trying to make it up as much as possible, but it still is falling short. But ads manager is a hell of a lot smarter than it was because of Andromeda and Meta lettuce update, gem, all the other sorts of things. The point is like without this data, without first click CAPI imports, none of it is as effective.
Right.
And you can't really optimize. And it's plain as day right there. Like look at the two platforms. Meta's missing how many? There was 46 versus what?
So
21?
It was. Oh, and this is the best part. You want to see the funniest thing? So it says, hey, you went up by 6, but we went up from
22
40
rather. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was basically 70% up to 46. Now watch this. We scaled up only inside of Facebook, and that's looking good. And Google is up 35%.
Of course.
So if you're anybody else, you say Facebook did really good, but why are we increasing spend on Google? That's looking pretty good this week.
Yeah, let's ramp up that.
Yeah. You know what? Actually pull some money out of that because look how much Google went up. That was better. So, and that's where people die.
We haven't railed on that in quite some time because we've moved on to other things. But if you're new watching this, like that is just a basic like we sort of take that for granted, but I think it's good to bring it up every now and then. If you're spending a lot on Meta, and then not everyone's going to buy on Meta. They are going to Google your name, or if you have an e-commerce store, like probably Amazon. If we did Amazon here, we would probably see an increase as well. These guys sell on Amazon.
Oh yeah, so there's increases on Amazon as well. And what's so funny is this is the conversations that everyone has. All right, Ralph, I know that you and your team are working hard and everything, and you increased Facebook, and you went up how much? 50%. Oh God. Horrible performance. We only went up 27%, but you know what? Google went up 50.
Yeah.
Can we start cranking up? Yeah. Should have shoved it there. That happened anyway. Be like, hey, you need to get out of my job and back into yours because I need creative and new products, not you misinterpreting metrics.
Nobody wakes up in the morning and without knowledge of a product, just randomly Googles your name.
Wake up and is like, I wonder if FabTab's a thing. What if they make cleaning products too? Honey, what are you talking about? I don't know. I had a dream.
I'm just randomly Googling like F and T, fantabulous. The point is like, it doesn't work that way.
No.
And it never has, and it never will. And I think it's an important thing to reiterate here is that everything, when you're on interruption marketing on Meta, that is how the world works, is that the last click, the Google and Amazon are going to gobble up that last click and claim credit for it. Yeah. But that's okay, because that never happened without your brilliance over on the meta side.
Exactly right. And that's what's funny is the biggest lie that we ever try to believe or tell ourselves is that we can use in-platform data to really help us understand what people are thinking about.
Yeah.
Not clicking, not doing, thinking about.
Thinking about. Yeah.
Like we showed them that ad, but they didn't click, so they must have hated us. Like, no. No.
Unbelievable.
They just scrolled and said, that's cool.
That's cool. That's cool. Then they go,
oh God, we got 12 minutes.
I know. I want to get to some of these questions here. We're going to have to rip through them. Yeah. Let's see. He's changed his name. This is our friend from Austria. Oh, yeah. Would you also invest in content campaigns to get problem solution awareness?
I'm seeing like 3 or 4 questions before that.
Yeah. I actually don't see.
Oh, here I can get it. I'll get the ones. Yeah. All right.
Jeez, I don't even see that. Why?
I think I joined early and I was in there right before you.
So I think I might have got actually.
Okay. Weird. Hi, I'm from Austria. First, I had a lot of bot traffic on my thinking page, and Facebook thought we were killing it with overspend by 25%. Next day, it spent 50% of my 12.5K euro budget on impressions in night. Did you experience this type of bot attacks? I've created everything. Yeah, actually, if you're on Shopify as well, you can they came out with a new bot traffic report, and it is actually really, really insanely accurate. We had one client that we knew that we were getting some bot traffic, and it turns out 25% of all their traffic coming from Meta is bots. So I think that this is something I would take into consideration. Look at things like ClickSees and all the fraud. But if you want to look at that, just go into analytics and reports. Build a new report. So click new exploration. Don't touch anything up there. Just over on the right-hand side, add your metrics of sessions and then apply. And then go and add a dimension. To type in the word bot, you got human or bot session. And then once that loads, you go down to your visualization. Well, once that loads, oh, come on. Once that loads, anyway, I usually can click line right there, and then it asks me to fix this. But anyway, I can see that in like the last 7 days here, if I just go there, because this report just came out this month. Now I have line. Okay, that's cool. Click line under here. Click add dimension. That will add the time dimension. And now you can see your bot traffic all on your site. So I have 19,000 humans and 3,000 bots on the 19th. Yep. And so if you're seeing increase and you're like, hey, I think I'm getting bot traffic. Well, in the last 30 days, you can kind of see like, yeah, you had a blip out there. More recently, I have a blip out here. Yeah. We actually just created a whole bunch of new ads and campaigns in Meta. That was the result. It blipped up in bots and blipped down in bots. Now, is that simply just Meta checking our landing pages and that kind of stuff? Probably.
Could be.
Yeah, it's just, it's a blippy. Yeah. But if you're like, hey, we have some people that have 50% bot traffic. So I would look at that if you're on Shopify. And if not, please get on Shopify so we can look at it together. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't see any of the question. I don't know what is wrong with StreamYard here today. So yeah, you're going to have to be the control guy. Gotcha. You're producing.
I'll be the producer. All right. I'll be better than Weinstein, I promise. I tried to run the campaign with only one ad. The CPM was 36 euro, but it restarted with 12 as CPM was only 15 euro. So what I'm wondering is, I've experienced a lot less frequency of issues coming up with like cost caps getting blown out and weird ROAS numbers by switching to CAPI imports. It really kind of resets everything. I no longer get the odd spikes and just random pixel fires and bot traffic, that kind of stuff, in my opinion. So I haven't experienced this lately. I don't have any accounts that I work on without CAPI imports. It's just, in my opinion, it's beating your head against the wall and expecting a different result. So I would say, I haven't experienced this. I do know some people do get some bot traffic. Again, this client that has very little bot traffic is also CAPI imported. So I don't know if that may be a thing, because maybe the feedback loop says those people are working and maybe they're not. I don't know, but I'd have to see why is it targeting them? That would be my question is, well, what signals is it seeing in order to do so? That'd be my question, to see if that's something we can move the needle on. I think this right after this is when
yeah, now I could say, like, all of a sudden they started to populate after that. Anyway, all right. Yep.
Go for it. Would you also invest in content campaigns to get problem solution awareness? No, not necessarily. My question to you would be, if you're going to produce the content campaigns, I would imagine you're probably going to be doing like landing page views, or landing page views, view contents. It's the only one I recommend for traffic. If you do that, you could. But my question is A, how do you measure it? And B, what are you expecting to do with those people? And C, how do you know if it's working? That was the things that I always had issue with running like kind of general awareness campaigns. You can measure it by MER if you are spending enough. So imagine you have to spend probably more than 25% more incremental total budget to see these campaigns actually produce a metric large enough to be not overshadowed by the ebb and flow of MER and NCAC metrics. That'd be my question. So we have done that before, but that was kind of our case study today is like, if I can get a micro conversion, I better get the conversions and better match top line, and I better be able to scale it. That's what I'm asking you is, how are you doing that? What's your next step and how are you measuring? That's always what you have to look at.
And also, Thomas, if you could just tell me if you're on your mobile device or are you on a laptop or an iPad or what you're on, because you're the only one it seems like that's on the Reels thing. But anyway, we'll figure that out with StreamYard. So just drop that in the comments. Anyway,
sounds good. And last thing, the step 2, initiate checkout campaign and then purchase campaign. And then so the step 2, initiate checkout campaign and then purchase campaign. Oh, would you also invest in content campaigns to get problem solution awareness? Step 2. Initiate. I don't know how that's written. Maybe a language barrier thing, but I have 2 campaigns. Step 1 is checkout initiation. Step 2 is new customer acquisition. Both first click CAPI to import.
Okay.
All right. Intro deep. Wow. This dude, I think has been like looking or watching videos that I've been producing since like 2017. Like I know that name from a long time ago too. So good to see you again.
He's asked a lot of questions actually.
Yeah.
He's responded to a bunch of videos. We weren't
so good.
responding to any comments.
Sorry about that.
Like hundreds of questions yesterday. But anyway, go ahead.
It's Black Friday week, people. Leave us alone for a minute.
We're a little bit behind.
Yeah. Hi, John. How do you scale up with just one TROAS Google search campaign? As I'm increasing the budget, CPCs usually go up. So that's a good question. If I need to scale up search, I make sure that I set a very, very sizable budget. The reason why is that for shopping campaigns, you can scale 100% with the same CPC. For search, you can't physically scale up 100% the same search CPC because you have to overcome 2 objectives that shopping only has to overcome 1. Shopping, you have 6 ads all at the top of the page. Whether you're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, everyone sees you. Search, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You have to have your rank be high enough in order to achieve the amount of clicks and click-through rate in order to spend the budget. So if you want to crank up your budget, you also have to crank up your bids so that you can be higher up more often. That is how you get traffic. Now, what I would say is I really don't care what the CPC is. It could be $1 billion as long as it's above my or within my NCAC goal. I'm just being facetious, but you get the point. Sometimes $10 CPCs can go up to $20 CPCs. But if your conversion rate goes from 3.5 to 7, you have the same CPA. So my question to you is, don't be afraid of CPCs going up if your conversion rate does, because those cancel each other out. So that, and a lot of times if you have higher quality traffic, like you're number 1 all the time for good quality search terms, those are things that typically do happen. We get a better position. You're more often first considered. You're more often having shorter amount of clicks or less clicks in order to get that sale.
And here's your answer. Yes, I've been following you since your first YouTube channel.
Hey, that's awesome. I was like, I know that name. I've been only seeing it for like a decade.
That's awesome. Right. We reward loyalty here. So we get another question from Interdeep here. Cool. You want to read this one?
Yeah. How many campaigns do you generally run for lead gen? Only one with automated bid strategy or something else? No, I do pretty much only run one. So my campaigns are usually theme based or very, very, very little overlap as possible. I try to condense the amount of times keyword cannibalism can happen, which means 10 broad keywords going after the same search term. I would recommend, with the introduction of close variants that Google has introduced, that your broad, phrase, and exact all can basically match for short tail broad synonyms. So in my opinion, I would consolidate down to the best performing ones because those have the highest amount of ad rank. That means that those can go as broad as they need to because there's nothing else that will compete with it, but your bidding strategy and budget will keep you in line. So if you have a low CPC, like a high TROAS or a low TCPA, that gives you a low CPC. It means that your close variant search terms are usually poor quality. I'm bidding on Ferrari, but I'm getting like red toy Ferrari. I'm not really getting what I need. But if my CPC was $200 and bid on Ferrari, you would get a Ferrari dealer near me. Like you see the search terms match on competitiveness. And because Google says, well, I'll give you the low search term. Why? It's low competition and you have low CPCs, you get crap. Yeah. If you have high CPCs, your good quality search term will match for high, or good quality keyword will match for high quality CPCs because it is more competitive. So it's just changing your keyword for you to either low quality or high quality, depending on how much you're willing to pay. So they just took over bidding.
Yeah. Makes sense.
That's all it is.
One more question from him.
Yep. Also, can you tell me how often and how much is okay to change the budget and increase if I don't? So I always use a low TROAS, like 40%. So it's never a shock. So I always adjust my budget to my top line metrics, not what the in-platform metrics say. So I could care less what the CPA is, but if I add 100% more ad spend, I better get 100% more new customers coming out the other end. That's how I measure. So I fluctuate 50, 60% swings weekly sometimes.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Hello, Asa. Thanks for coming. I think I'm seeing this in fragments. Do you see this question in your feed? Okay. From Bell Mergen X5G.
Yeah.
You don't see this one?
No, not at all. Oh wait, no, I do. If I scroll up, I do. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, there's something wacky going on with StreamYard today. Yeah, we'll fix it.
We'll
fix it, guys. Anyway,
there's 3 of them. So they said
3 questions.
Yeah. Okay. Still, interest works for brand, new brand. Sorry. Does interest work for new brands? What's the best structure for ads? So my opinion is this, and this will be the last one that I think we have time for. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I look at it in two ways. A, is your company / service something that is in an established industry with existing traffic? Meaning, are you selling the brand new WYSIWYG no one's ever heard of, or do you sell shoes? One is no search traffic and you're prospecting only. The other one is you could do some inbound and outbound. So when it says, does interest work for brand, I'm wondering if you're saying like interest building campaigns. That's how I'm identifying it. What would you think that means?
Geez,
I think so.
I think it's meta.
Interest
targeting. Yes, I think that's what he's talking about because we're always talking about.
Okay, got it. So yes, my hierarchy goes affinity is the worst. Sorry, like my hierarchy from worst to best is affinity, and then interest, and then search term based. And you can actually use that in targeting. So in like YouTube, if I'm targeting an audience, I could do affinity, like people that like yoga, interest, like people that are interested in purchasing yoga items, or keyword, which is best yoga mat. Those you got the interest level targeting. So you can use interested in. That is kind of like the middle ground. A lot of population that has shown interest in this. Affinity be like a lot of people that could be interested in this.
Yeah.
The interest is a lot of people that are interested in this. And then I usually go one level above that, which is why I want the people that are looking to buy a yoga mat now, because I'll start there, build a nice little revenue generator for myself, and then take my learnings and then go upper funnel into interest, knowing once they get to this level, they want that color, they want that price, they want to buy, this is the offer, this is a pain point, this is a hook, this is creative. Now I know why they buy. Let's go attack them up here and see if I can bring them down there. That's the thought process.
Awesome. Just a couple of things here. Thank you very much from Thomas. Thank you, guys. He appreciates the tastings in the conversion kitchen. A little strudel.
We're going to give you a nice campaign testing flight, a tasting flight.
A tasting flight. That's right. Great info. A couple of attaboys. Thank you very much. And look at this one. Thanks, guys, for all your knowledge. 30% plus year-over-year contribution margin plus 24% profit. Grows, adding roughly $300K in annual bottom line cash flow without sacrificing growth. Lolo Julia.
So $300K in annual bottom, our 20% fee. We're expecting $60,000 soon. So thank you so much.
Right. That's our take.
Checks in the mail, right?
Care of the John and Ralph Charitable Trust. All right.
You're like, you sent something to a meth kitchen? Like,
you guys are dealing drugs all the time? Oh my God. Anyway, well, that's what we're doing. We're going to be dealing turkey next week. So we're going to be off next Friday for the ad lab. Sorry to say. We'll post that. John, as always, cooking up craziness in the conversion kitchen.
Yeah.
Tasty bites of stuff here. Really appreciate you coming on every Friday. The Ad Lab, usually every Friday, 2:30 Eastern, except next Friday. We'll continue after the Thanksgiving break. Appreciate you all asking questions and dealing with some of the StreamYard weirdness here today.
All right.
See you in 2 weeks.
All right. See you, everybody.
See ya.